An angry reaction to Swindon Town Football Club's plans to sign the former Plymouth Argyle goalkeeper, Luke McCormack. He killed 2 young boys in a drink-driving crash in 2008. The first person on the scene was Derek Ballantyne. He's written to Swindon Town and criticised their decision to have the player on trial. I asked Derek if he would be happier for Luke to return to football if the sentence he'd been given was tougher.
If it had been tougher, he would have been too old to be in the game. It would have been better, you know. Part of his bargaining plea in court even was that to get his lenient sentence was that he already knew that he probably wouldn't be playing football again. Purely because, you know, I suppose because what he'd done he's killed two young kids in a drink driving accident. And how long? And it's like when you read about what he's done when he's in prison, he's been out day release. He's been training with Swindon since January, seemingly, and he's worked in charity shops. I mean, as sentence goes, how much time has he actually spent in prison? And while he's been in prison, what has he done? He's been in cushy prisons. They will have looked after him. They've been in the best of the sports facilities, the prisons he's been in. So he got sentenced to 7 years and 4 months. No, he's not. No, you don't even do the 7 years and 4 months. That's three years or something he'll have done by the time he released. I think it's the 12th of June. And all they've done is we've paid for him and been in prison to come out fit as a fiddle and go straight back into football. And when you read comments like, you know, about Mr. Ray at the club and everything at Swindon, saying they're a family club, and he's on about that, that Mr. McCormack can now put something back into the community to show troubles of drink driving and things like this. He's put down, you know, well, he's not been punished for drink driving and killing 2 kids, is he, properly? He's back in football because Swindon, well, not Swindon, Mr. Jeremy Ray, whoever's took him on, has got herself a cheap footballer because at the end of the day, Luke McCormack seemingly was a good goalkeeper, an up-and-coming young lad. You know, he was going to be going places in proper, you know, big clubs. And Swindon have managed to grab themselves a bargain because probably not many clubs would take him on. I mean, Plymouth Argyle finished with him, who he was employed with at the time of the crash, within 3-4 weeks of taking him, you know, from the incident happening. They weren't even going to wait to see what the court case was going to be. Yet, it's just, everything's just all wrong. And from meeting him that day, Mr. McCormack, on it, no remorse, nothing. Even when you've seen him going to court and everything, there's nothing at all searching the man's face or anything for remorse of what he'd done. It's just like, oh well, I've been in a drink driving accident. He's got nothing to relate to. He hasn't got scenes of carnage and children in bits in a crash carnage. He's got, you know, he's got statistics in his head of what he's done, and that's it. But at the time, I think it said the maximum he could have got was 14 years for what he'd done, killing the 2 lads. Okay, it's not his fault. It's not his fault, I suppose, of what the jail term is. But he, like I said, part of his plea bargain thing was that he wouldn't be in football again. So it suits at the time for trying to get a lenient sentence, and there you go, he's in the limelight. I mean, what it's doing to Amanda and Phil Peake, the parents of the boys, I do not know. It's bad enough for me reading and seeing things and knowing what's going on, and they're not my kids. Never met them before. I keep in touch with the family. I mean, when I say keep in touch with the Peakes, just feel sorry for them. And it's not just with sympathy, but, you know, but it's horrendous. And it never leaves you. I mean, to me, my wife, as though it's just happened yesterday. You could go through every detail and everything in your head from yesterday, you know, not from 3-4 years ago now. It's just like yesterday. But whereas, part of McCormack's punishment is he can't do that because he's not seen anything bad. And he should not be playing football. All right, he's served the cushy sentence and be out. If the man had any remorse about him himself, you'd be thinking twice about being seen in public limelight in the position he is. He'll have been told about what's going to happen and the bad publicity. He's obviously quite happy about that because he's got himself a job that he loves doing at the end of the day. Whereas everybody else around that day is damaged, damaged goods, everybody. And he's home and dry at the end of the day. And like I say, Swindon should stop and think about what they're doing at any football club. You just don't know what's their ideas are.
Derek Ballantyne, who was the witness at the scene, and earlier this morning he described what he saw when he ran to the Peaks car, and he saw the mangled bodies of the two boys that had died. And the most emotional part for me was hearing him talking about the father who was trapped in the car, screaming for his boys. Now, Swindon Town have defended their decision to give Luke McCormack a trial with the club. They say he deserves a second chance. What do you think? Joe Wheeler has been in touch on Twitter. He says, if Luke McCormack signs for Swindon Town, I'll still be a fan, but I won't attend any games until he leaves. James in North Swindon, good morning.
Good morning.
What are your views on this?
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I can only add to what the guy Derek has just been talking about. To me, the fact that he caused this accident by virtue of the fact that he was playing football, earned enough money to afford a large car, a Range Rover, I believe it was, and took the lives of two innocent boys. To me, it's just appalling, and he should never be allowed to play football again. I think, the reception he's going to get at Swindon, I'm sure there are many other people that feel as strongly about this as I do. I think the guy's an idiot. And, I think that Swindon Town should definitely not allow him to play. Well,
the judge did describe him that way. He said he was driving like an idiot. I spoke to Jeremy Ray, the chairman of the club, on this show yesterday, and Jeremy said the guy was young and daft, made a mistake and deserves a second chance.
No way. I think you take the lives through irresponsible behaviour of two young... look at the poor father in a wheelchair. I mean, to me, there isn't any justice in this, and I think that the comments that that guy made is just a lame excuse and a way of getting the guy to play for the town. So I'm sorry, but I just think it's appalling.
James in North Swindon, thanks for your call this morning. I'd love to know what you think. If you would like to have your say on this, 513366. The hosepipe ban is being lifted in Swindon tomorrow. Yes, it turns out Thames Water have got a window, and they've noticed it's been raining ever since the hosepipe ban came in. Simon Evans is Media Relations Manager at Thames Water. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Has the hosepipe ban actually saved any water? Who would want to use a hosepipe in the rain anyway?
There has been a few hot spells. For example, in May, when we had a really sort of Saharan stretch of weather, we were actually...
Saharan is pushing it a bit, though, isn't it?
Well, it was sunny. Let's just leave it at that. But during that period, that hot spell, we were saving, thanks to people complying with the hosepipe ban, 100 million litres a day.
You wouldn't have to save so much water if a quarter of the water you dealt with wasn't leaking away, though.
We would...
That's a pretty disgraceful figure, isn't it?
It is an awful lot of water, but I would disagree that it's disgraceful. I would say that actually, if you look back to when leakage was at its peak...
It could fill Wembley Stadium every 36 hours.
No, we haven't solved the problem, but we've made a very good start tackling it.
You've also given £500,000 to your chief exec as a bonus, haven't you?
Look, I'm not here to talk about the individual remuneration packages of any individual. We are a FTSE 100 sized company. We need good people to run it, and we've got to pay accordingly. But if you look at an article in The Guardian yesterday, you'll find that there are a lot of other chief executives of big companies who get paid vastly more than our chief exec does. It's actually quite small by comparison.
But those companies didn't ban their customers from using the product that they're actually paying to get.
No, and that is an absolutely fair point. But, given the circumstances at the beginning of April, imposing a hosepipe ban after we'd had the 2 driest years ever, we didn't know how long it was going to stay dry, and actually that was the responsible and the right thing to do at the time. Since then, we've had a game-changing amount of rain, and so we're now in a position to lift the ban, and we're really glad that we can do that.
All right, well, we've been saving water. Now,
we certainly appreciate that.
Well, if people who are on a water meter, they're going to make considerable savings. What about the people who aren't on a water meter? Are you going to give them a refund?
No, I'm afraid we can't do that. But actually,
that's a shame. Why not?
The benefit for people who are not on meters is that you need to remember that about a third of all the electricity or energy bills that the average household spends goes on heating water up. So the less water we all use, the less money will be spent heating that water up, and the less our bills will be for energy. So
I don't know anyone that's heated water up before they've squirted it onto the lawn.
Well, certainly that doesn't apply to watering your garden, but we encourage people.
Well, that's where we've made the savings through the hosepipe ban.
All right, fine, but we have been encouraging our customers.
Who puts hot water on the garden?
Who puts hot water? Well, no, we've established that doesn't happen. Okay, you
were saying that people who've saved the water through the hosepipe ban can't have a refund, but they will be saving money because they're not heating the water up.
We've encouraged people, as well as
Simon Evans, I'm sorry, we're out of time.
A passion for Swindon life.
BBC Wiltshire.